Hey there, English learners. Welcome back to Fluent English with Podcast. I'm Sophie.
And I'm Alan. Today we're diving into some fantastic phrasal verbs to boost your English vocabulary.
That's right, Alan. And our lucky 7 for today are: take off, put on, look up, go on, get up, pick up, and run out.
Strap in, folks, because by the end of this episode, you'll be soaring high with your English skills.
All right, let's kick things off with take off. Now imagine you're on an airplane. When it takes off, what does it do?
It lifts off the ground and begins its flight.
Exactly. Now, take off can also mean to remove something, like clothes or glasses.
Right. And it's not just literal. You can take off your coat when you come inside, or take off your shoes before entering someone's home.
And here are some easy examples for our beginner learners.
1. I took off my hat when I entered the church.
2. It's too hot in here. I'm going to take off my sweater.
3. Don't forget to take off your makeup before bed.
4. He always takes off his shoes before stepping onto the carpet.
5. The doctor asked me to take off my glasses for the eye exam.
Fantastic examples, Alan. Now, let's hear take off in action with a dialogue.
Wow, it's getting warm in here.
Yeah, let's take off our jackets.
Good idea, it's much more comfortable now.
Absolutely, I always feel better when I take off extra layers.
Me too, especially in this heat.
Definitely. Shall we go grab some ice cream?
Nothing like shedding those layers to beat the heat, right?
Absolutely. And remember, folks, takeoff can mean both lifting into the sky and removing something, so use it wisely.
Stay tuned, because we've got more phrasal verbs. Let's continue with put on.
Okay, Sophie, so what does put on bring to mind?
Well, put on can mean to place something on your body, like putting on a shirt or a pair of shoes.
Right. It's like when you put on your favorite hat before going outside.
Exactly. And it can also mean to perform or stage something, like putting on a play or a concert.
Spot on, Sophie. Now, let's provide some beginner-friendly examples.
1. Don't forget to put on your coat before going outside. It's chilly.
2. She likes to put on her favorite music while she's cooking dinner.
3. They're going to put on a talent show at school next week.
4. He always puts on his best smile when meeting new people.
5. Let's put on a movie and have a cozy night in.
Wonderful examples, Sophie. Now let's quickly dive into a dialogue featuring put on.
Are you ready to go?
Almost. I just need to put on my shoes.
Okay, take your time. I'll wait for you outside.
Thanks. I won't be long.
That dialogue shows how we use put on to talk about dressing or preparing for something.
Absolutely. And remember, listeners, put on can refer to both physically placing something on your body and staging or performing something.
Thanks for catching that, Sophie. Now let's look up the next phrasal verb.
Exactly, Alan. So, what comes to mind when you look up?
Well, it could mean physically directing your gaze upwards, like looking at the stars or searching for an airplane in the sky.
Right. And it can also mean finding information in a book, on the internet, or in a dictionary.
That's spot on, Sophie. When you look up a word in the dictionary, you're finding its meaning or definition.
And here are some beginner-friendly examples.
1. I didn't know the meaning of that word, so I decided to look it up in the dictionary.
2. Can you please look up the recipe for chocolate chip cookies online?
3. She always looks up movie reviews before deciding which one to watch.
4. We should look up the weather forecast before planning our picnic.
5. If you're lost, don't be afraid to look up and ask for directions.
Great examples, Alan. Now, let's dive into a dialogue featuring look up.
Hey, do you know what ephemeral means?
Not really. Let me look it up real quick.
Thanks. I heard it in a song. and got curious.
Ah, here it is. It means something that lasts for a short time.
Interesting. Thanks for looking it up.
No problem. It's always good to look up new words.
Definitely. Let's use ephemeral in our conversation today.
Sounds like a plan.
A perfect example of how we can use the internet to look up new words and expand our vocabulary.
Absolutely. And remember, folks, don't hesitate to look up information when you're unsure about something. It's a great way to learn. Now, we've covered take off, put on, and look up, and now it's time to go on to our next phrasal verb.
Indeed, Alan. So what does go on make you think of?
Well, go on can mean to continue doing something or to proceed with an action.
That's right. Like when someone tells a story and you want them to keep going, you might say, please go on.
Exactly. And it can also mean to happen or occur, like when an event or situation unfolds.
Absolutely. Now, let's share some simple examples for our English learners.
1. The movie was so interesting that I didn't want it to go on.
2. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Please, go on with your story.
3. It's getting late, but the party can go on if everyone wants to stay.
4. The meeting will go on until all the topics are discussed.
5. Despite the rain, the outdoor concert will still go on as planned.
Great examples, Alan. Now, let's hear go on in action with a dialogue.
Did you hear about the accident downtown?
Yeah, I did. Do you know what happened?
Not exactly. The news just said there was a collision, but they didn't go on to provide details.
I hope everyone involved is okay.
Me too. I'm sure more information will go on to be released soon.
Let's keep an eye on the news for updates.
That dialogue highlights how we use go on to refer to events or situations unfolding over time.
Absolutely. And remember, folks, when you want someone to continue or when events unfold, you can use go on to express that.
We hope you're enjoying our exploration of phrasal verbs today. We've covered take off, put on, look up, and go on. Now, let's get up and tackle the next one.
Absolutely, Sophie. So what does get up bring to mind?
Well, get up can mean to rise from a seated or lying position.
Right. Like when you wake up in the morning, you get up from bed.
Exactly. And it can also mean to organize or prepare something, like getting ready for an event or activity.
Spot on, Sophie. Now, let's provide some beginner-friendly examples.
1. Every morning I get up at 7 o'clock to start my day.
2. Don't forget to get up early if you want to catch the sunrise.
3. We need to get up early tomorrow to prepare for the big presentation.
4. She always gets up before sunrise to go for a jog.
5. Let's get up early on Saturday and go for a hike in the mountains.
Wonderful examples, Sophie. Now let's dive into a dialogue featuring get up.
What time do you usually get up in the morning?
I usually get up around 6:30 to have enough time to get ready for work.
Wow, that's early. I struggled to get up before 8.
It took some time to adjust, but now it's just part of my routine.
I wish I could get up earlier. I feel like I waste half the day sleeping in.
You could try setting an alarm across the room. It helps me get up when I'm tempted to hit snooze.
That dialogue illustrates how we use get up to talk about waking up in the morning and getting ready for the day ahead.
Absolutely, and remember, listeners, get up is not just about physically rising from bed, but also about preparing for activities or events.
We're on a roll with our phrasal verbs journey. We've covered take off, put on, look up, go on, and get up. Now let's pick up where we left off with the next one.
Absolutely, Alan. So what does pick up bring to mind?
Well, pick up can mean to lift something from a surface using your hands.
Right. Like picking up a pen from the table.
Exactly. And it can also mean to learn or acquire new skills or knowledge informally.
Spot on, Alan. Now, let's provide some beginner-friendly examples.
1. Can you please pick up the books from the floor?
2. I need to pick up some groceries on the way home from work.
3. She wants to pick up a new hobby, like painting or photography.
4. We should pick up some basic phrases before traveling to a foreign country.
5. He's trying to pick up Spanish by watching Spanish movies with subtitles.
Great examples, Alan. Now, let's dive into a dialogue featuring pickup.
How's your guitar playing going?
Not bad. I've been practicing every day, trying to pick up some new chords.
That's awesome. Have you been using any online tutorials?
Yeah, I've found some helpful videos that have really helped me pick up the basics.
That's the way to do it. Practice makes perfect.
Definitely. I'm determined to pick up this skill.
Keep at it, and soon you'll be able to pick up any song you want to play.
That dialogue shows how we can use pickup to talk about acquiring new skills or knowledge, like learning to play an instrument.
Absolutely. And remember, listeners, don't be afraid to try new things and pick up new skills along the way.
We're having a blast exploring these phrasal verbs, aren't we? So far, we've covered take off, put on, look up, go on, get up, and pick up. Now, let's wrap up our list with the final phrasal verb, run out.
Absolutely, Sophie. Now, what comes to mind when you hear run out?
Well, run out can mean to exhaust the supply of something, like when you use up all the milk in the fridge.
Right. It's like when you're baking cookies and you realize you've run out of flour.
Exactly. And it can also mean to leave a place quickly, often in a hurry.
Spot on, Sophie. Now, let's provide some beginner-friendly examples.
1. Oh no, we've run out of milk. We need to buy more from the store.
2. We're going to run out of time if we don't finish this project soon.
3. I need to check if we've run out of printer paper before starting this document.
4. They decided to leave the party early before the food ran out.
5. Don't forget to check the gas meter. We don't want to run out of gas in the middle of our trip.
Fantastic examples, Sophie. Now, let's dive into a dialogue featuring run out.
We're almost out of toilet paper.
Really? I didn't realize we were running out.
Yeah, we only have one roll left. We need to buy more soon.
Okay, I'll add it to the shopping list. We definitely don't want to run out.
Definitely not. It's always inconvenient when you run out of essential items.
Agreed. I'll make sure to get some when I go to the store later.
That dialogue illustrates how we use run out to talk about depleting the supply of something and the need to replenish it.
Absolutely. And remember, listeners, always keep an eye on your supplies so you don't run out at the most inconvenient times. All right, we hope you've enjoyed learning these phrasal verbs with us.
Absolutely. Remember, practice makes perfect, so don't hesitate to use these phrasal verbs in your everyday conversations.
And if you ever feel stuck or need clarification, feel free to look up more examples or ask a friend for help.
That's right, Sophie.
Well, until next time, keep practicing your English, and remember, we're here to help you every step of the way.
Take care, everyone. Bye.